Hey, Coach, how's it going? It's the middle of August. I think the summer is running away from us. What do you say?
And I can't believe we're on this side getting ready to be approaching Halloween and winter pretty soon. They said Halloween this year, Val, is now the number 3 holiday in terms of purchasing now. Approached 14 billion last year, maybe beat that this year. And they're selling Halloween stuff already in July or August.
That's too soon. That's too early. We shouldn't be doing that right now, Coach. But I def I definitely am excited about. I'm going to be celebrating summer all the way till September 21st. That's
Okay.
the official day start to the fall, and that's what I do. I am not in school, so I don't stop celebrating once I get into school because I'm
Right.
not in school. But
And if you
welcome
were,
to
we still celebrate.
exactly, you gotta still celebrate that. But welcome to another edition of Interlude Section Presents Talk on Tuesdays. We are here, we are doing our thing, and we're going to get started right about now. It's another edition of Interlude Section Presents Talk on Tuesdays. We're here, we're live, we're doing our thing. And of course, we're excited to tell you about the book, A DJ Saved My Life. It is the personal memoir and the ABCs of you guys starting your own podcast. Let's get that going with you guys. You can go to purelighthouse.media.com to order the book, or if you're a person that likes it, pocket and digital, we have the digital version for you available as well, which is always exciting. So make sure that you go ahead and do that. Oh my goodness. And then of course there's KeySpot. That is one of our affiliate sponsors. Share, connect, and grow. If you have a small business, go ahead and go to keyspot.app.com/free to find out more about how you can get your small business on the KeySpot app. And then patreon.com/interludes. Tony, that's where I do a lot of our backstage stuff and a couple of articles and some things like that. So if you guys want to find out more about starting your podcast, or then reading some articles or seeing some backstage stuff between myself, Tony, or is it just me in the purple robe, go ahead and do so and check us out. So Coach Tony is in the building. And of course, we want you to subscribe to his
Pull Up Podcast Show. You already know. The IG.
Yes, the IG, Coach. So how do people find you on IG?
Man, just pull up on me. Look me up at the Pull Up Podcast Show. And you got me. I'm right there, and get back, send me a message. I'll lock with you. I'm trying to get my boy Chance the Rapper. Man, connect with me, Chance, Chi-Town, baby. You see I'm already wearing, because this is National Vinyl Music Day. He dropped his album, and Chance, I picked it up on vinyl. What?
You did?
Man, support them Chicago cats all the time. Dirk, Herbo, all of them.
Oh, okay, cool. That's what I'm talking about. And speaking
National
of this,
Vinyl Day today, Val. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Wonderful.
Right. And we're definitely going to be talking about that. But what's happening in Michigan, just outside of Detroit? What up, What up, though? So, of course, it is the Prayer Breakfast of Champions. No, this is not virtual, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to come and be in person. Coach Tony is one of the featured speakers to be talking about the Pull Up Podcast Show. And that is happening on August 29th, 30th, and 31st. It is the Labor Day weekend. And of course, if you want more information about that, that is prayerbreakfastwithchampions.com. And of course, not only will Coach Tony be there, but of course I'll be there.
Yeah, y'all better
Val
pull up on it.
Boys.
Yeah, she's bringing some books. She will have them books ready to go. And
Ready to
she'll probably have the QR code. No, but no,
all that good stuff.
You bring some books, autograph a few.
I will. I definitely will do that. That's a very good idea. And then also this coming Saturday, I will be doing something called Girl Power with one of our former sponsors, Karen Glass. And of course, it is I'm a seasoned voiceover filmmaker and author that will be here, but it is a virtual event to help you guys, I don't know, give yourselves some power. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we're doing our thing. But you know what?
In the house, well, JB, before you go on, JB, you need to get at me that house track out and put it together. I need a female voice on it. I need one.
I love it. I love it. You know what? You were telling me about this a little bit earlier in the day. You said today is National Vinyl Record Day. What is so important about National Vinyl Record Day? If you, as a DJ, I know you would know that, right?
Well, it came back a few years ago, Val. It's just vinyl records. I've been telling you guys this, especially since the pandemic, that is on its way back. And I was just talking to Val about it a few days to a week or so ago, that the prediction is vinyl music is supposed to overtake hip hop and R&B again, like it did in the early 80s. As that stuff was coming around by the year 28, 29. So in the next 3 years, vinyl, I mean, now go back, Val, I'm going to tell you, I love y'all young cats, love y'all Gen X's and Gen Z's and all that stuff like that. But in terms of music, we had the music, because the stuff you're listening to today, we had those groups. That was the groups that physically had guitars and drum machines and played percussions and sax, Val. It had the little shake going on in the Congo. You know how that was, 63rd Rainbow Beach, shouted out. And
wow, I remember that.
Music, right? You go to 63rd and you hear the bongos. Anybody on the night from the Shy know exactly what I'm talking about back in the day.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. I mean, that sounds like that sounds very, very exciting. And here's the thing, National Vinyl Day, that's for anybody and all that.
Celebrate. I mean, you got your Phil Collins, you got your Neil Diamonds, you got your, Paula Abdul, you have your whatever. It could be some Sinatra. You know what I mean? Pull it out. Vinyl Day. Listen to the
like that.
crackling valve. You put the record on, it crackles. That's when you know somebody's spinning that real vinyl. You ain't got that man going on with that.
That's what I'm talking about. So National Vinyl Record Day is August 12th. And so because Coach is a DJ, that is something that's very important to him. And before we keep it on moving, it has been rumored, Coach, and we talked about this, that A Different World might be coming up for a reboot. Debbie Allen is over in Martha's Vineyard with the former
Martha's Vineyard, having some tea.
Martha's Vineyard. You get a spot of tea, and then of course they'll be doing their thing there. It is the African American Film Festival, and according to Variety. Oh, hey, what's up, Mr. Springer? According to Variety, she is going to be, there's been some ramble about a possible Different World reboot. Now, here's the thing. A Different World is currently streaming on Netflix, all 6 seasons, uninterrupted, and do your thing. Yeah. And so here's my question. What do you think about a possible reboot? What are your thoughts on that?
Man, come on. Different World was my show, because we finished school, right? A Different World was kicking it, so the frat, they had everything, they Different World in that early 90s made people want to go to college, especially the HBCUs. It gave me and people like I know in Chicago and, in the Midwest, especially upper Midwest, I really didn't know about a lot of the HBCUs. You knew the big names, Howard and Grambling and stuff like that, but Alcorn State and Mississippi Valley and, Fisk, I didn't know about those until you start looking at it. But this show right here with the characters and what they did, plus Val, they brought Theo and them other ones on, Will Smith. They brought other guys on other shows that was balling over to the campus. And I'm telling you, it was to your typical wake up on the yard, I don't even, Val, do the kids call it the yard nowadays?
That's a good question. I don't think they do, but I definitely have heard it. Stomp the Yard was 2006, so I can't believe that.
That's Stomp the
Almost
Yard
20 years
word.
ago.
But
The
I want
word,
to
the yard.
call it the yard. But different world, they made you feel like you was on the yard. You know what I mean? As you can say, because you had the RA, you had your homeboys, you had Ron trying to get in the frat, my man in the cafeteria wilding. You know, it was cool. Yeah, cool.
Mr. Gaines. It was Mr. Gaines.
Love the game. All crazy to me too.
And then you have Cree Summer. You have Daryl Bell, who played Ron. You had Kadeem Hardison, who played Dwayne Wayne, and of course, oh my gosh, you had Dawn Lewis, who wrote the song. Different World. She's Dawn. There's a great story.
She was just too grown for me. She just grown.
And then, of course, Glenn Thurman, who, if you go back in history, the original Cooley High. That's Cooley High. That's
Cochise. It was Cochise boy.
Yeah, and he just got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame earlier this year. Yeah, he's been acting for years.
I told you we're gonna spell it for you. COOLEY, Cooley High. West Side, Cabrini Greens. Look it up.
Yeah, I know. And like I said, I think according to Variety, there's some chatter about the A Different World reboot, and it's just kind of that thing where
I like it. What you think?
What happened?
I love that idea. What do you think?
You know what? I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it.
Let me ask you a question. Is it the original characters or is it with the new peoples?
Well, let me get to that. So they spoke to her at the 23rd annual Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, and she was there talking about having a partner in Hyatt and TJ Abrams of Global Wellbeing, which is greater access. But then on top of everything, they did ask her about, and I forgot she's a Tony Award winner. And she said when she first started, there was no Cosby Show. And growing up, the only thing that reflected people of color on television was Diane Carroll's Julia. And remember, we talked about that. It was on from 1968 to 1972, which was a little bit before my time. And then
right after 72, my girl, fine ass Pam Grier, hit the set. So there was two people just kind of, and the reason why I say that, Val, is this, you got to follow me here. I just mentioned and described how it made us feel coming in. And at that time, if you go back and look at the influx of HBCU and young folks, that probably was the heightened time that HBCUs had intakes of freshmen, probably since the early 60s in inception. It went decades. Right now, with the things that's going on in the country and everything's going on in terms of history and pulling history out of books, don't want kids to read about this and do this and that, I think it would be a great show because these young kids, they're different. I talk to them all the time. I'm in school with them. They are different. And they would watch stuff like this because they are out folks. They're not really out like we used to kick it out. They're sitting in watching these things. And I think a show like this would be huge for the young generation.
Exactly. And what she said when she was interviewed and when she was talking, they said A Different World is on Netflix right now. And she says all 6 of those years represents the great work that's there for everyone to see. And she says for right now, there hasn't been anything exactly talked about. And it's 144 episodes that's currently on. But now, Netflix has currently ordered a reboot pilot that would return Hillman College, a fictional Black college, a historically Black university, to follow the daughter of Whitley and Dwayne, the original series main characters. And it's been reported that Debbie Allen, will direct the pilot. So that's the rumor that's out right now because Netflix is seeing how popular the show is on Netflix right now, which is now 30 years. Oh God, yes, 30 years old, 87 and 92. Yep.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, between that and Cosby, it took us to the yard. I mean, because it's like every day we did something, we could look up and see that on TV. And a lot of the times, like the pledging and the way things were, it was just like on TV. It was funny. And you could relate to it because back in the day, everyone wanted to go to school. Nowadays, these kids, it's too much the way to do whatever. But they want to go, we wanted to go to school. We were trying to get away. And that
was Exactly. And the great thing, this is a recent picture of the cast. They went on tour, I believe, last year, just before Kamala Harris as vice president left the White Office. So what happened was they did a HBCU tour. And according to that, they said it was very well. It did very well because the kids watched the show on Netflix and those guys are like stars, even though they are 20, 30 years older now.
Oh, yeah.
People recognize all those folks. And so that's a really good thing. So I think I would watch a reboot. I'd like to see what Dwayne and Whitley's daughter, the children, the siblings, or the children are doing. That would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be great. We've seen it happen in movies, right? We've seen they have part 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden part 3 is the kids that's now grown and act just like mom or dad or whatever it was, or love stories. So I think this would be perfect. Again, I think that with the right monotone, with the right, I guess, position of where they're trying to get to, they can get at these kids, especially with the new technology. If they come in with a show like that, showing everybody walking around every day on their phones, online, doing this and that, somebody doing that'll capture the kids. And you got to get those college kids to push your shows.
Exactly. They're the ones that could tweet about it, could put it on TikTok and chop it up. A lot of people are discovering the new shows or older shows on TikTok or IG Reels or Facebook Reels or wherever, the shorter version of a long form situation. And it's like, I think even Kevin Springer, he asked us earlier today, I thought I saw Busta Rhymes on a show called The Cosby Show, but it was some kind of reboot. And I was like, no, there was another show that Bill Cosby did called Cosby. He brought on Felicia Rashad, and it only went for 4 years, from 96 to 2000. And it had Dougie Doug and Takia Crystal. Yeah. Dougie Doug. And she was, and Takia, she's from Unliving Color. So that was, what was that?
For those that don't know, during that same time, Busta was with leaders of the new school. So before he became Rhymes. So, you're doing your history on that. At that time, he's wearing baggy clothes and a big hat, polka dots, different things. So it was Busta. And he wasn't big Busta, he was small Busta back in the day. But that was him. So that was wow, that's amazing how far back that was, Val.
I know. And I know, unfortunately, you have got to get out of here. But what I would like to do is just to briefly talk about our Coach of the Year. We had Coach Diane Richardson from Temple University on, and it was really good to have her come and talk to our audience. And so, Coach, we're wrapping up your 3rd season. So you got some great guests coming. But, of course, this was really a good conversation that you and Coach Richardson had on last night.
Oh, yeah, it was probably one of my better shows in terms of this conversationalist. I mean, Coach is so deep. And what I loved about that, and I'm hoping that the people got out of her story, it was almost in 3 parts. You've seen a person who basketball was secondary, even though it was number 1 in her heart, but she went on to do bigger things in track and field, came back and then decided, hey, this is pre-WNBA, right, Val? This is back when if you really wanted to play as a female, you definitely went overseas because that's where all the money was at. And she did that, had a child, had some heartache, stood by that, turned around. Her and her husband did whatever. She spent 25 years in corporate America and walked away to do what you want. And they said, what do you really want to do? And she wanted to coach. And now she's looking at that and she's been successful and got an award with her and Jim Brown. I mean, it was, if you want to hear about, the steps and what it takes, because I tell people all the time, Val, this coaching game is, we got a closed community, but you got to put your work and your just dues in. And I really appreciated that there were several coaches on last night, Val, asked great questions about whether it was their careers or what they thought about players, recruiting, and Coach Richardson took the time to discuss it and said, "Hey, here's my information. Send me an email if you would like some, to talk." I thought that it's kind of like Val in the podcast. You want to do it? Call Val.
Exactly. So that's what's all going with that. But I thank you so very much for bringing some great guests for your third season. As we go ahead and wrap up the Pull Up Podcast show, we are going to have another. Yeah, we got 2 more episodes before we wrap up for the season. But I thank you for bringing on Coach Richardson, because she was very empowering to hear her story. And for anyone that is interested in coaching, she definitely is someone that you could look to as a mentor. But that was really a great guest to have, Coach. And so we're going to wrap up. We're going to have a commercial, and when I come back, I'll be talking the podcast summit. But of course, you guys rocking up here. We are doing Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays, and we'll be right back after this message. We're kicking off a whole brand new season. I know you guys have missed us, but we are back. And of course, it's always exciting and wonderful to have a very talented individual who has started a wonderful tech company. And then, of course, he is the host of Tech Thursdays on a platform called the House of Creativity. And he has just finished his book, Where? Jay Mullane Wise. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Val, the voice, Johnson. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
One thing I forgot to mention is that also about, I want to say October, November of last year, Wise stepped into the podcasting game, initially starting on Instagram, and then started his platform, Wise Going Live. I was recently on the platform, but I think I've been there 4 times. It has been extremely gratifying to see how far you've come as a host, a podcaster, and also a moderator, sir. So I just wanted to say kudos.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When you're around great talent like yourself, Val, the voice, it only does inspires you to go forth. And we have amazing community of people that inspire us to actually, keep accountable. You keep me accountable. I keep you accountable. We all keep each other accountable, and we try to do the great thing to move forward.
What is going on? I got to do the opening. I didn't do that. Just like from that movie, I'm going to get you, sucker. Everybody needs a theme song.
And you got that right.
Everybody needs a theme song. Let's not get it twisted. Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays, and it's me, Val the Voice Johnson, and of course, man, oh man, I got a chance to attend something called the Podcast Summit, and wow, there was so much good stuff that happens. And of course, that's one of my fellow podcasters, Jay Mullane, also known as Wise. He has got something called the Wise Hour on Fridays. And so we celebrate everyone who has been podcasting in this space. And it's been a wonderful thing. But I wanted to share an interview I did. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what is the Podcast Summit? I heard about it. And a gentleman named David Shands, he created this about 7 or 8 years ago, but he had a podcast called Social Proof, and he was hosting it, did a couple of things, and I think he shared with us on stage that it took him up to his 54th episode in order for something to happen with that. And I was like, really? But what was so exciting, he has made I want to call it good relationships with a lot of people in and outside of the industry, motivation, podcasting, influencers. And so he brought a lot of those folks together for the Podcast Summit for 2 days. Now, for some of us that are a part of, I like to call it's called the morning meetup, where we gather as entrepreneurs to talk business, but then to also inspire each other to do content creation, as well as keeping each other accountable for what we're going to do on a daily basis to make money in our business. No, you don't have to be a podcaster to be a part of that group. But I joined this group late March of this year and heard about the podcast summit and was thinking, it's in Atlanta. I should possibly go check it out. So I was really excited to do so. So I got a chance. There was a gentleman in our group. His name is JB Alexander. He talked to me and says, my sister, you've got to talk with her. She's got a podcast called Funny Divas, Comedy Divas. And you've got to talk to her and let people know who she is. And I said, okay, I'll definitely do that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my interview that I did. Her name professionally is known as Sharon B. And so I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys on right now. And you guys, this was taped in Atlanta at the podcast summit on the first day. And you guys go ahead and check it out right about now. Albert Boyce Johnson, and I am here with Sharon B., Emmy Award winning, and also a comedian. You know, I've been trying to do stand-up for a bit, but she has been doing and has been interviewing folks on her show called Comedy Divas. How's it going with you?
It's going pretty good. I'm actually not a comedian, but I write comedy, I act in comedy, I produce comedy, and I've directed comedy.
See, she does it all.
I do it all.
See,
but I love comedy so much. I respect stand-up hugely, immensely. I applaud all the women, but I wanted to do a platform to celebrate Black women in comedy in front of the camera, behind the scenes, and all aspects of it. And that's why I started the podcast, Comedy Divas Girl Talk Podcast.
Oh my gosh! And here's the question: who are some of your favorite comedians that has inspired you to write and also direct and do things behind the scenes?
That's hard to say because there's so many. You mean legends or modern people?
Let's go with legends.
Okay, that's easier to me.
Great, good.
Because if you have to say Moms Mabley.
Okay.
Because she is the blueprint for Black women in comedy doing stand-up. Mm-hmm. You have to say Whoopi Goldberg because she was revolutionary in stand-up and going to Hollywood and becoming a leading lady.
Right.
Marsha Warfield.
Yes.
Mentioned a lot. She did a lot of stand-up and she did a lot of great things in comedy with Richard Pryor and all these other people. And LaWanda Page.
A lot of people forget about her as well.
LaWanda Page, who played Esther on Sam from the Sun.
Fish Eye Apple.
And Fish Eye Apple. And she did vaudeville. She was a legend, and a lot of people don't know about her. So I would have to say those ladies are very inspiring. And they inspire a lot of, because when I do my podcast and I interview a lot of comedians, those are the ones a lot of them mention.
Yeah, and when I think about some of the folks today, when I think about the producing and the writing of things, I think about folks that have blazed the trail for writing comedy for television.
Yeah.
Yvette Lee Browser comes to mind immediately when I think about modern. And also Issa Rae with Insecure.
Yes.
So a lot of folks that are out here now. But if people wanted to get
Quinta.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget about Quinta as well. So if there was someone that wanted to get started in comedy, either doing stand-up or writing, what would you tell them?
Well, stand-up specifically, I mean, applaud to anyone who does stand-up. I mean, it's a hard road. But and this is one thing, you gotta write.
Okay, write.
You gotta write. And you gotta put in the work. You gotta pay your dues.
Okay.
You gotta get out there and get into the clubs. Now it's different now because I'm grown. So, a lot of the girls coming up, they're doing things through social media.
Okay.
You gotta make a presence. You gotta get your numbers up. You gotta get out there and be seen.
Right.
But if you really want to do stand-up, you got to put the work in. You got to go and get on stage for 5 minutes for like a chicken wing and, some water and put in the work. And you said for writing as well?
For writing, yeah.
For writing, what can help with that? What helps with that too is creating your own
content.
Yeah. Issa Rae, like you mentioned, for
She did
example,
that.
she did her own sitcom, which
Her own YouTube channel.
her own YouTube series, and then look, you know, it
Awkward
just
Black
happened
Girl.
overnight.
I think
Yeah,
that was
Awkward
the
Black
Awkward
Girl.
Black Girl. Yeah.
But she did things before that. I mean, that's the one that blew up, but she put the work in. There were other things she did before that.
Yeah.
But also trying to intern, become a writer's assistant, well, whatever can get you in the room. That's the best way to go.
Oh my gosh. Well, if people want to check you out, Sharon, on Comedy Divas, where would they go?
They will do comedydivas.com, comedy.
All right, we're having some technical difficulties
It was
right
on
there.
Instagram, all the platforms and everything. But also, I'm Sharon B Media for my personal.
Sharon B Media.
Yeah.
I want to thank JB Alexander, who said, Valerie, you need to talk to my sister, Sharon B, because she is the bomb.com.
My brother.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm Valerie Boyce Johnson from the Podcast Summit in Atlanta. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks. I see that things were dragging a little bit, so that was fun. I love technology. That's wonderful. She started her podcast in 2012, and right now she's got over 650,000 followers. Wow, that's kind of cool, and 30 million views. And so one of the things that I was excited to talk to her about was just doing comedy, just kind of that situation. Like, that's a big deal. I've done some stand-up comedy, which some clips are available on the Patreon. But of course, this is it, comedydivas.com. And she was one of the people that I interviewed. And that's the interview that was like done right on my cell phone. I was like, let me get this out. And I really had a good time talking with her. And I learned a lot at the Podcast Summit. I mean, to be in a room full of dynamic creators, it was really, really exciting. And like I said, I was really excited to just kind of share some of the things that I did. And let me go ahead and share a little bit of what I have. And I see Janita. Thanks so much. She says, love it. The Podcast Summit looks very cool. 30 million views. That's she's got a lot, 32 million views. And that's kind of her deal. And I was invited to the Podcast Summit through my accountability group that I'm a part of in the mornings. And so I just really had a good time doing that. And of course, that's me with the backdrop with the Podcast Summit. I think I was representing, yes, the Pull Up Podcast Show, as well as I'm had on my Sox shirt, because it's baseball season. Please don't ask me how the Sox are doing. I hope they're doing okay, but I don't know how they're doing. I love the merch. I love the merch. I say one of the most impactful speakers is someone from our own I want to say, morning meetup. Her name is Cynthia Respert, and she has AIX. This is something where she trains folks on how to do and how to use AI. I got a chance to snap that picture with her, but she spoke from the main stage and was telling us how AI should be an extension of you and not something that's going to replace you. You have to know how to use AI to its fullest. And I think just all that I learned from there was really impactful. And I can't believe there was other folks that someone just sent me a text, and they were there too. I asked a question of, I think, one of the speakers, one of the people that was being interviewed by Brandy Harvey, and she got my picture of me asking the question. And I said, oh my goodness, I can't believe she did that. Everybody's getting into podcasting, ladies and gentlemen. You are not too holy or high to do a podcast. So if you guys have heard of the minister, Dr. Jamal Bryant, I thought he quit his church. I said, okay, I thought he quit his church. He didn't quit his church. He interviewed Jason Lee, who is a social media influencer, and he's got a show called Let's Be Clear. I'm like, okay, what we being clear about? But that interview was funny. That was on the podcast summit was 2 days, almost 2.5 days if you were a part of the pre-launch situation. But it was filled with a lot of great conversations. And even our host, I cannot remember her name, but she is I want to call it local famous in Atlanta, and she started her own podcast as well, which was really, really phenomenal. But yeah, so you had Jamal Bryant from the stage interviewing Jason Lee, and Jason Lee during his thing called up Tiffany Haddish on FaceTime. I said, "Oh, we rolling like that. That's fun." So one of the things that I kept hearing from every person and every podcaster that was there, or people that was presenting, was that do not give up. If you have a dream of doing a podcast, or if you have been saying, I'm going to start a podcast, I'm going to do something, just get started. Don't wait. And I think a lot of people wait because they are afraid that they're not going to be either accepted or listened to, or that their voice is not strong enough. And I think one of the most powerful speakers that we had, and another thing is that there were vendors. I was so happy to see some of the vendors there as well. I think when I was looking at, there was a gentleman, and I had never heard of this gentleman because he's very popular. Willie Moore Jr. He started his podcast, and unfortunately, I believe had gone through a divorce, but he had used that and then started. I think he was on radio and says, I want to start my podcast. And so he gave his wonderful presentation. It's bigger than podcasting, and then gave us the 3 M's. And I want to make sure that I took this. What is your motive? What is your mission? What is the method? And if you get those 3 solid, then that could lead you to making millions. And I think that's what happened with him. But I believe with Willie, he got a little bit of a boost by already being on radio. But it's a little bit of a boost because keep in mind, every radio show, the vast majority of them are either streaming on YouTube or they're streaming on something visually so you guys will see it. But I love that. You guys like that? Motive, mission, method, millions. Just giving those 3 M's. And then, of course, we had a surprise speaker. I didn't expect this person to be there. But before I get to him, I also want to mention that there was also another person I saw that was there. And I was thinking, and other podcasters that were there, it was just really a good time to just see everyone. I met a lot of the people that are a part of the morning meetup in person. I can't remember everybody's name, but I do remember some folks. We had a cookout on that Wednesday. Then we also had the podcast summit, which was Thursday, and then it ended Friday. We didn't want to leave each other. I'm looking for that picture and I can't find it, but there was a bunch of us that took a group picture, and then people that when they said, okay, everything's done, they started taking stuff down, and they were like, okay, you ain't got to go home, but we're wrapping things up. And I was thinking, oh no, I don't want to leave. I want to stay here and keep having a good time. How many people have heard of the podcaster Wall Street Trapper? Never heard of this gentleman before in my entire life. He really set things a pace. And when I say he put it down, he was letting us know, think about your podcast or think about your platform just like Peter was a fisherman and he got in the boat and couldn't catch fish. And your platform is like the boat. And anybody that uses biblical references, my ears perk up like, And one of David Shan's one of his favorite sayings is, consistency is the only cheat code. I love that. I love that he says that. I think I have a picture with him in here. I believe I do. Here it is. It was at, I have it finally. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and show this real quick. But yeah, consistency is the only cheat code. So David has his own studio that he built. I want to say, when did he build it? Probably 3 years ago. I think he either bought the building. Yeah, he bought the building, and he started and he does Social Proof podcasts in this building just outside of Atlanta. And it's not that far. It's 20 minutes, 30 minutes from downtown. And so I said, hey, let's take a shot. But I made sure I took a picture of his consistency is the only cheat code. That is like being consistent, showing up. That's why myself and Coach Tony, we're here every Monday and Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, giving you guys what we love to talk about in regards with sports and then with entertainment. And so that's a fun time. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so the surprise, so that's Wall Street Trapper, and he came with the fire. When I say he came with the fire, he was not playing no games. In fact, all of the speakers from the main stage did a phenomenal job. I want to just give a shout out to everyone that did the graphics. Everyone had matching. I'm sorry, I checked these things out for myself. They had matching graphics, everything. Podcast Summit, you had the logo. It was the same color scheme. I was just loving it. It was a beautiful thing. But someone that was not expected to be there, and I don't know if you can recognize him, that's Eric Thomas. During the pandemic, he had a lot of motivational speeches out on YouTube, a couple of podcasts, and they've called him, he's been nicknamed the hip hop preacher. But he's in your face with what, get yourself together. And of course, he did the same. He said, I came down here. My wife needed to get her hair done. I'm friends with Dave. And he says, hey, you want to speak to the people? He said, sure. And I'm thinking, if I didn't learn anything else from the podcast summit, it's about relationships. To leverage a relationship of someone who possibly charges anywhere from 20, 30, maybe almost $100,000 to speak. That's Eric Thomas. I'll just come because my girl is in town. We're in town and we got to get her hair did. And I was thinking, leveraging your relationships, that's really, really important. Really, really important. And thank you so very much for that, Janita. Just fighting to be consistent, because there's other things, unfortunately, that I have been doing that I had to let go, because it's like, this is the platform. This is the thing that we've been doing. And so with Eric Thomas, he started quoting from the scriptures. He quoted from one of my favorite scriptures, which is Psalms 139. And he says, I am. And he kept saying, you are a podcaster, and you have to say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Oh, I was totally vibing with that. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And then also it's just kind of in our face saying that if you say I can't podcast, or if you feel like you're an imposter, tell that person to be quiet, and you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am a podcaster. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I can do all things through Christ. All of those wonderful affirmations. And I think he spoke for a solid 40 minutes. And I was tearing up. I had my little tissue out and was like, that's right, I am a podcaster. But yeah, this was powerful. And I was just thinking, did Dave pay him? Doesn't matter. The relationships are there. And so developing good relationships, friendships and relationships with people, that's how you can leverage, where you can start, grow, and monetize. I put that on my laptop. That was we got all of these wonderful stickers that Dave gave us in our package. I'm trying to look. Oh, here we go. Some of the stickers, obviously, we got the podcast summit that was in Atlanta. That's kind of cool. I'm a part of the morning meetup. They have their own logo. That's kind of cool. I like this one, creative, coming from the House of Creativity. I like that. And then, of course, a different way to say podcast summit. That's kind of cool. So these were some of the things that came in oh, I think we also had a notepad with it. It was just a great thing. And then right now our group is in the process of reading this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People from Stephen Covey. I read this book back in the 90s, and I'm rereading it now with Sean Covey's comments in it. And if you see all my little notes and stuff like this, so this is what's helping me grow as in business regarding podcasting, because podcasting is a business, whether we want to believe it or not. So, but it is what it is. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so like I said, I really had a good time. I got a chance to be in, what is this? I got a chance to be in Atlanta a little bit longer than expected. I was only going to be there from Wednesday through Friday. And then I had a conversation with a good friend of mine. Her name is Mitos, and she's also a author. And she was in town for a writer's retreat, or kind of a writer's summit. I think she wrote a book in like 48 to 72 hours. And I was like, girl, you better go for what you know. But I got a chance to take my book. I sold her my book, A DJ Saved My Life, and I got a chance to sign it for her. So what we ended up doing was I ended up filming. I had our writing mentor, Monique Lisa, film us at breakfast or brunch or wherever we were, and me signing the book. And I thought this was what really kind of cool. What I'm going to do is bring it up and show it to you guys. But I was like, this is something that needs to happen. In other words, doing more and more, I want to call it book signings. And I don't know why I'm a little nervous about that, but it's like, well, Valerie, don't be nervous. Just let it happen. It's going to be okay when it happens. But let me go ahead and show the reel. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys. And I had my little microphone on. I think sometimes it works, sometimes it sounds good, and sometimes it doesn't. But you'll see Mitos smiling in the background here. But come take a look at it. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Hey everyone, I'm Val the Voice Johnson. I'm here in College Park, Atlanta, Georgia. And of course, I am with my writing mentor and also my creative mentor, Delano A. Johnson and Monique Lisa Johnson. Of course, she is my writing mentor that helped me write this wonderful book called A DJ Saved My Life. And that beautiful cover was designed by her beautiful husband, Delano. But of course, Mitos is here, also a 7-time author. And I am going to sign this book for Mitos. We did this back in she signed a book for me in, when was that?
Howard Networking Conference last year.
Yeah. So I'm going to do this because she was very inspiring for me. So I make sure I spell her name right. M-I-R-O-S. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to do something like my mom used to, put the date on there, August 2025. Thank you for being a creative partner. Thank you for being a creative partner in this journey called creativity. Nila, your sister in Christ, Val, the Voice Johnson. And go ahead, and here she is. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for your support, baby. Oh my goodness, that was fun. And I think we were at a brunch, I think called the Real Milk and Honey in College Park, Atlanta. If you guys are from Atlanta, you'll know exactly where that is. But we really had a good time. And I was going to show more pictures of myself and Delano and Monique and Mitos, but just that video signing the book and handing it off to her. And I remember her signing the book that she had before. It was a year before I finished my book. And she said, yeah, I've been selling the book, her children's book, Don Neon, and I interviewed her for the book that she did it for. So that was really exciting for me. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I'm going to continue on, let you guys know about a film that is hitting theaters and then Apple TV pretty soon. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but I believe in New York City, I think yesterday, Spike Lee premiered his new film, Highest to Lowest. Now, Apsack, oh good gracious, Apsack, why am I saying his name wrong? Apsack, Rocky. Apsack Rocky. I'm saying his name wrong. Jeffrey Wright, Denzel Washington, and also who else is in it? So it's going to be in theaters on August 15th, which is this Friday. It's going to be this Friday, and it's going to be streaming on Apple TV if you have Apple TV by September 5th. So, Denzel is picking his roles very, very carefully now. He has already stated, I'm in retirement. I'm like, okay, if you're in retirement, then okay. So he did Othello he finished up his Broadway run on Othello, but now he is back with Spike Lee. And I have a question. What is your favorite film with Spike Lee directing and Denzel in it? Now, for me, it's Malcolm X. That's easy. But for others, who would that be? Because there's now, this film makes it 5. And if you know the 5, I think Mark is in the building. Mark, I think I saw you. You said hello from, there we go. Hello from Mark from Durham. If you have a favorite film that Denzel Washington has done, and it was with Spike Lee, you should let me know what that is. That would be fun if you knew what that was. But let's take a look at a preview of Highest to Lowest. Is the official trailer, and I think there's language in this because it's Spike Lee. I don't know. Oh, let's see. And I see Sharon is here. Oh, thank you so much for that. She says, congratulations, sis. I just started my podcast after being in David Shan's podcast training. Woo! Let's go. And then when you do that, you start, you grow, and you monetize. Come on. That's wonderful. So Mr. Springer, he says he agrees with me. His favorite Spike Lee, Denzel Washington film together is Malcolm X. Got that. Beverly Tate, it's been a minute since we've talked. I've got to call you. She agrees it's Malcolm X for her as well. Anyone else? And Shannon, what's your favorite Denzel Washington film that he did with Spike Lee? Now, let me run them down for you. There's Mo Better Blues. There's Malcolm X. There's He Got Game. There is Inside Man. And now Highest to Lowest. Is that all 5? I said it was 5 of them. This is me knowing my movie trivia, especially with Denzel Washington. But I want you guys to let me know what you think. If you are interested in seeing this film, this hits theaters on Friday. It's a Denzel joint. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Spike Lee joint with Denzel sprinkled in there. But let's take a look, and you guys let me know on the other side what you think of if you're going to see this film. Here we go.
The mood music. I need a theme. Theme music. Hey!
Wake up, y'all. The king's here.
Got to pay back.
Buying back, stacking his records.
It's a lot of money.
There's more to life than just making money. It's integrity. That's what you stand for.
What you think? I think you gotta be a little crazy sometimes in this world to get what you want.
King David, now ain't this son? I got your full attention now, huh? You finally listening to me.
Somebody's got Trey.
What do you mean somebody's got
Somebody's kidnapped our son.
$17.5 million in an all-black Jordan backpack.
Try me if you think I'm playing.
I ain't got
Back out the trunk from the front.
11 a.m. board the 4 train on the money-making Manhattan.
You let him go, I make sure you set free.
It's too late for all that.
It's never too late.
You're not God no more, nigga. I am.
35, and I'm still a pretty guy.
I gotta feed the streets, my lady, and a newborn kid. And I ain't trying to go back and do another bid, you dig?
I know what it is to risk everything you have for something that you want. I know what that means, to have nothing and want everything.
What is that? Insurance. That's Jake from State Farm.
Shout out to my felons, boy, we caught another felon. Shout out to my felons, boy, we caught another felony. Shout out to my felons, boy.
I can't go out like this, you know that.
Shout out to my felons.
Well, then his blood is gonna be on your hands then.
Pack out the trunk.
Oh, you want to do this? I got into this by myself. I'm gonna get out of it by myself. Where's my money? I got the 4-pounder sitting right here. Don't try nothing funny.
I'm interested. I don't know about anybody else. I don't know. I think seeing Jeffrey Reich say, "This is Jake from State Farm." I don't know. I was cracking up. I don't know about nobody else. That was just me. So let me see here. What is this about? Last night, according to Deadline, Highest to Lowest with Denzel Washington, ASAP Rocky, that's how you pronounce his name, Ice Spice, and director Spike Lee, and that's for A24's Apple's Films red carpet premiere at BAM. It was at BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music. So that was yesterday on April 11th. So they premiered it. Dean Winters, John Douglas, Thompson, Jeffrey Wright, and then also Giancarlo Esposito was there, Rosie Perez, who has done some films with Spike. So are you guys interested in seeing this, or is it a pass? I'm curious. I'm wondering if you guys are going, I want to see that, or you're like, I'm gonna pass on that one. I want to let you guys know I went to see Superman over the weekend. I didn't think I was gonna like it. And normally a film like that I would review. I actually liked Superman. It wasn't too bad. It made a lot of assumptions that you knew the players, so there was no backstory for Lex Luthor. The actor who portrayed Lex Luthor did a great job of just having this extreme anger. But I kind of wanted to see a friendship between the two of them, but how many alliterations of Superman is in my head? Smallville. That's Christopher Reed's Superman 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 was horrible. So yeah. So Highest to Lowest is the new Denzel Washington film. So I have an interest in seeing it because it's him. And also, like I said, it's going to be something that's going to be coming out. And here's the thing, it's already going to be streaming on Apple TV in the very first part of September. And so, like I said, this is going to be, it's hitting theaters on this Friday. And they said the film is a modern reinterpretation of a 1963 classic called High and Low, which was based on the novel King's Ransom by Ed McBain. Interesting. So it's a thriller. Okay, so here's the thing. It's a crime thriller that reunites Washington and Lee. And I think the last time they did something was Inside Man. I knew it was Inside Man. And so yeah, so this is going to be fun to see them work together. It's like getting the band back together. And so if you guys are interested in seeing the film, I'm interested in seeing it. And here's Mark. He says, I'm not interested in it. I am interested in a new movie. You are? Okay. Yeah. And then of course, here's Beverly. I got the 4 pounds sitting right here. That was another funny line too. I just thought it was, I got Jake. What is that? That's Jake from State Farm. And I'm like, that's a gun. That's not Jake. I don't think Jake would want to be identified like that. And thank you so much for this, Kevin. He says Denzel was on Good Morning America. and it's encouraging people to go to the theaters to see it. And Apple has a lot of money. They sure do. They don't need no more of my money. We need to support it in the theater. So it's coming out this weekend, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of show the preview of it. We're probably going to get dinged for the music. I thought I heard ASAP Rocky's song, and then I also heard the big payback from who is that? James Brown. So thank you so much for that, Mr. Springer. He says, gotta support DW. I plan to see it in the theaters too. So what I'll probably end up doing, because many of you said from here, you said you'd like to see it. I would like to do a review of it. I'm going to go check it out, and I'll do a review of the film and let you guys know if it's a yay or a nay. Should you go see it, or should you wait? But here's the thing. Denzel has made bad films good because it's him. John Q was a film that was all right, but it was good because of his acting in it and how, passionate he was, kind of going against the healthcare system. So that was one of those films that was like, it was all right, but you saw it because of just on the strength of him being in it. And with Denzel kind of, wrapping up his career saying, and he's already publicly put it out there, I am in retirement. I don't have to do films if I want to. I pick what I want to do for the next couple of years, and probably in another 5 or 7, I will be done. Isn't that wonderful to have a career like that? But you could also have a career like that when you start, grow, and monetize your own podcast. I'm sorry. I'm all excited about the podcast summit. It's really good. Yeah. And here's Mark. Apple has too much money. Apple doesn't have a lot of my money, but they definitely have it when it comes to doing my laptops and stuff like that. But oh my goodness. I'm going to share a little bit more about the podcast summit at another time. But like I said, I got a chance to put up some more pictures. I'll probably put some more pictures on my feeds, and definitely a lot of you all like the reel that I showed during this show. And like I said, it's been really, really fun. And Coach Tony and I have been having a blast. But like I said, I want to make sure that I let you guys know what we're going to be doing toward the end of the month. I can't believe it's coming up. It's literally coming up in 2 weeks. We are going to be speakers at a prayer breakfast, totally happening. And we want to thank Pastor Dr. Anthony D. Shannon, but I know him affectionately as Speaker T. And he is put together an in-person event called the Prayer Breakfast of Champions. And it's called The Leaders Live Generously. It's probably a part of his series. And Coach Tony will be talking about the Pull Up Podcast show. And then I will be talking about the book, A DJ Saved My Life. It's going to be on Friday. There'll be a meet and greet on the 29th, the Sunday brunch on the 30th. And then we're going to have the speakers are going to be all of August 31st. So that's literally what is that called? That is the Labor Day weekend, and that is just outside. It's going to be at his church. You want any information about it, go to the prayerbreakfastofchampions.com, and you guys can check us out. We're so excited about being able to do this speaking engagement. I think it's Tony's first speaking engagement as a podcaster. He speaks all the time as a coach, but this is his first time doing that as a podcaster. So this is pretty major, man. Oh man. And your thoughts about a different world reboot, if you could let me know in the chat or on our Interludes Facebook group, that would be phenomenal. I'll ask the question, would you want to see a reboot of A Different World, or should they leave well enough alone because we're not interested in them children? We just want to see Dwayne Wayne and Whitley and Freddie and Kim. Rest in peace, Mr. Gaines. And then also there's also Don Lewis, Jaleesa, which you'd be interested in seeing any of these folks, but it would be about the children. It would be about the children. So I think I would be interested in seeing something similar or something like that. I think so. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. So we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up our 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 Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays, and of course, Coach Tony. I am his social media person. I am his social media person. He does. What does he do? He has his own pull up. He has his own pull up podcast show. It's social. He has his own IG. Ladies and gentlemen, I told him for over a year, Tony, please start your IG. I could manage it if you don't mind. And then finally, he started his IG. So I have access to it, but do me a favor, scan the QR code right there. Let me take the banner off right here. Scan the QR code or follow him, the Pull Up Podcast Show, all one word, at the Pull Up Podcast Show. We're putting up new content all the time. And then on top of that, I have well over 300 reels. We are looking at them and we're deciding the best ones to put up there, but we're having a blast creating for his platform. And then, of course, Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. We are brought to you by the book, A DJ Saved My Life. If you're interested in purchasing a physical copy, that's right, a physical copy. I had the ebook for a long time. Janita, if you're still listening, I need to let you know, please go to the website and just order the book so I can send it to where it needs to go. Just let me know. But definitely get your book or other merch at purelighthouse.media.com. That's it. I like that everything is in one spot. I like my hair in this picture as well too. And then of course, always Interlude Extra presents Find Your Voice. We're putting up more and more, I want to call it StreamYard training and also podcast training on Patreon. Do you know it is free to join? You just you can sign in through your Google, or you can create a Patreon account. But here's the thing, Shannon, I think Shannon was on. Sharon, I'm sorry. Sharon, you were on. Create a Patreon account and put some of your podcast stuff over there. That would be wonderful. Oh gosh, and Janita says, I'm listening and I need my physical copy. So we're going to sign 2 copies for you, Janita, and you just let me know what address to send it to you. Thank you very much. Praise the Lord. We're going to make sure we take care of that. But join us on patreon.com /interludes. Oh my gosh, that is such a wonderful thing. And I have a journalist degree. I have a journalism degree, and I've been getting into writing more and more blogs for Patreon, for LinkedIn, as well as purelighthouse.media.com. I'm starting to love it now, and I'm getting a lot of help, and I love it now. At first I was like, I don't know what I'm going to write about, but it's all good. It is all good. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm putting more stuff up there. I have a series on here called The Purple Robe Diaries. You will not see these videos on regular YouTube. You have to go through Patreon to see it. And then also my my stand-up comedy is on Patreon. So that's the cool thing about that. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll be back next week, and then of course I'm excited about what's coming up. Oh, August 25th is the Pull Up Podcast Show Fan Appreciation Show. If you would like to be on the show and talk sports with Coach Tony, reach out to me at purelighthouse.media.com and send me a message on the website and say, I'd love to be a part of the Pull Up Podcast shows. It's the season finale, third season finale on August 25th at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gathering our sports heads who want to talk sports with Coach Tony. And so on behalf of myself and Coach Tony, we want to thank you so very much for joining us on another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays, where we highlight people of color in spaces of entertainment, film, and television. I didn't know there was a difference, but sports is now covered by the Pull Up Podcast show. I used to say sport. We don't do sports anymore, but then again, we do. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and as myself, I'll pretend Coach is here, and I'll say this: peace. Rock out with us on next week. We'll see you soon.